he starts talking about like sex trafficking, how sex traffickers would make like a whole lot of money off of my body.
Wow. My jaw literally dropped.
This man, horror. She was serving. I came up looking like gorge, and you're looking like a bum.
But I don't care.
I don't mind people looking at me and be like, she's definitely with him for the money. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third episode of Unusual Beginnings. Today's kind of going to be a very short episode because Johnny and I are both in a rush. I'm heading out to New York for the weekend. He's moving to Madrid. So we're both doing all of our packing very last minute, very type B friends over here.
Yeah, I've got, well, I won't show on camera, but I've got like all my belongings all over the room, suitcase open. I'm literally leaving in 2 days. 2 days.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm like packing up, moving to Madrid for 3 months just because I want to. So
I'm
it's
so
exciting.
jealous.
I know.
I wish that I was going with you. I wish
you
that
were
I
coming with
didn't have
me.
to come back at all.
Yeah,
It's okay. I will see you in 3 months in London.
in London and then maybe New York.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm looking like, well, I was looking at the prices of New York and I was like, why is it so cheap? It's like, it's not that.
You have to like, the thing is like you have to do it right when you see it. Because even yesterday, I'm going to Canada in like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been looking at prices, and at first it was literally, I think, like less than 200. And then it kept going up. And then yesterday I looked at it again and it was like 300 or 200 and like $300. And I was like, okay, I'm going to book it. And then I tried to book it and then kind of like didn't book it right away. And then when I was ready, the price literally went from like 268 to like over $300. And I was like, oh, okay.
Someone told me though, I think it might have been Madison told me, somebody in Madrid told me that if the site knows that you've looked at it, so if you look at it from another device, I've not tried it. Well, I have actually tried it. I'm not sure how much. I think that might be a load of crap, but it's worth trying. Look at it from a different phone and see if the price goes down, because that happened to me in Madrid, didn't it? I booked a one-way flight to Madrid, and then on the way back, I was like, I remember getting in a taxi to the airport in Manchester going, the return's only 30 quid. I'll book it tomorrow. And then I got to Madrid, woke up in the morning and it got up to £180. I was like,
Honestly, airlines and flights are literally a scam. I'm over it. Anyways, we're getting off topic. Let's get
That's
back.
okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. We've
No,
agreed
it's
that
just
these
like
episodes don't need to be
fun.
serious.
Yeah, of course. But like we're in a rush. We have some exciting things to talk about today. Today's episode, yeah, we're keeping it very chill from now on. We're not trying to be like those other podcasters, very serious giving advice, because that's just not. But today's episode is dating horror stories. And I'm sure you have some horror stories. I know I definitely do. And I'm sure that all of my other ladies out there definitely do, because I got a few responses from the prompts that we did. And it's just like insane.
I was thinking about this recently. I think men have less horror stories than women, because generally the men are the ones that cause
The horror.
I fucking hate saying that, because you know me, I'm so like defensive over men, partly because I feel offended when someone kind of includes me in that, because I'm not that part of that. I don't consider myself part of that demographic of people that do that sort of thing. But like from my own perspective, I can understand, because I don't really have any horror stories per se. I've got some bad experiences, probably ones that I wouldn't share on a podcast, but you know.
Why not?
We'll talk about that off air.
I'll hop on a separate call. Wait, hold on just 1 second.
God, your hands are so cold.
You already know that my hands are always cold. Nothing, my sister's back home.
Hello.
Love you. Sorry about that. My sister's out.
Is that the one that was on you video called and she said hi? Yeah. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, she came back from Greece literally yesterday. I don't know how, well, I know how she's awake right now, but I don't know how, like, she went out last night with her friends, and I literally crashed as soon as I got home from Madrid.
Yeah. She younger?
Yeah, she's only 20.
Well, there you go.
She just turned 20 like a few days ago. So, not a few days ago, a few months ago in April.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. She's got the energy of a 20-year-old. Not like us. I'm going to be 32 this year. I'm 32 in like 5 months.
Oh my God.
No, not 5 months.
I'm going to
Like
be
8 months.
30 next year.
Yeah.
It's okay. 30 is the new 20. So basically, I'm only 19.
Yes. So I'm 22.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I feel 22. I'll be honest, I do feel 22.
I definitely don't feel 19 physically, but mentally, yeah.
I'm starting. My body actually just this last year is starting to get injured more often. Like I'm starting to get this little problem with my knees now, where if I sit cross-legged for like the next hour or two, my knee hurts.
So, what happens to
I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know whether that's just the fact that I've been because I started jujitsu and that's a lot of kneeling down. I don't know whether it's that or the fact that I'm just putting too much pressure on my knees. But
Probably
just
both.
sitting cross-legged, I shouldn't have that.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
All right. We were talking about dating horror stories. Did
Mm.
you want to go first or ladies first?
Well, I mean, I literally have none. I'm trying to think. Like, I was spending quite a bit of time thinking about like, do I have any? And I don't have any like horror stories. I've never
Yeah.
really been catfished. I've never. No, that's a lie. I have
You have been catfished?
not catfished per se. I mean, I'm sure every guy has experienced it where somebody doesn't look like their photos. I don't
Yeah.
think they did it intentionally, but it's just that women have a tendency to put pictures on their profile of their best photos, and it doesn't necessarily always match up to real life. And I had one particular situation many, many, many years ago where that happened, and I was very young, and I turned up and I met this lady, and I couldn't control my facial reaction. So my jaw literally dropped, and I couldn't help it. I was like, and I had to physically,
On the
I had
floor.
to, I literally had to put my jaw up. Like I was like, I'm so sorry. I had to like hide it as quickly, but she saw it, and I could see the disappointment on her face, and I was like, I felt so bad. But don't mislead people this way.
Yeah.
I don't
Guys
understand
also
it.
do that too.
I'm sure we do. I try
Yeah.
not to,
But,
but I'm sure we
but
do.
a lot of the times actually, I feel like it's the opposite with guys. They usually put like the most horrendous photos on there. You're one
That's
of
how it
those
should be.
people.
I'm
You're one of those people putting the most horrendous photos out there that's just like, "Ugh, this guy's not even attractive. I'm going to swipe left." But there's been some guys that I'm just like, you know what? There's just something about them. I'm seeing potential. And then I swipe right and we talk and they have a great personality. And then I'm like, the looks, like, I'm still not like, they're like, okay, they're not like super ugly or anything like that. And then we
yeah.
meet in person and they look completely different. I'm like, thank God your pictures are like not that great, but you are so much better looking in person. They're like, thank you.
Yeah. I like to put photos up of me doing things. And for example, I have like a photo of me in Vietnam sat on a water buffalo. I don't look great. I've got a hat on. I'm wearing scruffy pair of shorts that are too big for me. I've got a
Yeah.
scruffy pink purple vest on that I had for like 2 months, and I've overworn it and it's a bit tatty. But I don't care. It's my personality.
Yeah.
And like when I dress
Good
up and
for
I
you.
sort myself out, I look better. But obviously, like I like to set the expectations low so that when people meet me in real life, they're like really impressed.
I've been brought up to that high expectation and like put my best self out there.
Maybe this is why I've not had so much success with dating.
Exactly. But when I took pictures of you and you use it on your dating profile, you got way more responses.
Yeah, it did better. It definitely did better. But
Yeah.
I've since deleted those and those dating profiles, and
Yeah.
no longer know which photos we uploaded.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to my daring horror story because it kind
Go
of
for it.
relates to today.
Okay.
Well, because I'm going to see Sydney. For those of you who don't know,
Yes. Yes.
one of my best friends, Sydney, she lives in New York City. And the reason that we became friends was because of a horror of a dating like story, honestly. Like I feel like this is like one of the most horror dating stories. And it's definitely like my top. So picture this. Young Carly, a few years ago, moved to New York. She is brand new to the city. I mean, I've visited the city before, but this is like the first time that I'm living there. I was working. I had got off work. It was the weekend. My friend that I was staying with, because I didn't have a place at the time, he was coming back home. And so I had the whole place to myself and I was like all by myself. And so I figured, you know what? I'm gonna go out. But not only that, you know what? Maybe I should probably do a date, probably go on a date, and have someone show me around the city or, like we go get drinks and stuff like that. So I hop on Hinge, Bumble, and started just like swiping. Obviously, like I still have standards, so I wasn't like swiping to everyone, but I was swiping to like everyone who I thought was attractive. And then just saying, like, bring it to the city, want to go out, want to like have some fun, not like, but like have some fun, out in the city. And if you guys like respond, some of them don't really respond that fast. And then there was like this one guy, profile looked great. This is kind of like the catfishing that you went through. I went
Hmm.
through the same catfish. On paper, super tall. I think he was like 6'5" or something like that. He looked very handsome in his pictures. He looked like he was like well traveled. And we got to talking, and he said that he was only visiting like New York, and he was actually flying out the next day to London. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like we can go get drinks. And he was staying, I think, in Williamsburg, which is also where my friend that I met, where Sydney lives now. So it's like ironic.
Hmm.
And I was staying in Bushwick, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna like start getting ready now. And would you mind grabbing me an Uber? He was like, yes, of course. He like went, like got me an Uber. So I was ready, picked me up. And then he was staying at this hotel called like the Pod. They're like really like small, like room hotels, but they have a rooftop. And so I was like, okay, like perfect. That's great. So we go, and the rooftop is really nice. I was looking so good, obviously. I had my ponytail like at the moment. I was serving, she was serving cut.
Such an American phrase. I can't get used to it. You'll never hear me
Yes.
use that.
She was serving cunt, she was looking good. Makeup was on point, outfit clearly on point, body tea snatched. Johnny, you need to learn the lingo, okay?
I'm having an education today, aren't I?
Yes. Okay. So, anyways, I get to the hotel and stuff. I get to the rooftop, and then I think he was already waiting there. I walk in, Johnny. Oh my God. I walk in. This man literally looks like a bum, is wearing basketball shorts, these rundown sneakers. And I think he was wearing like a hoodie, and he had like a snapback, and like he had like a backpack. I was just like, what is going on?
Right.
Your hotel is here. You have all of your shit with you. You had enough time to like shower, get ready. By the time that like we started talking and I came over, I think 2 hours have already passed by, babes. And I came up looking like gorge, and you're looking like a bum, like you're looking homeless. And so I was just like, oh, okay. That should have been my red flag. And I should have just like left right away. But I was such a people pleaser and, didn't want to be rude or anything like that. I'm older now. If that ever happened, I literally would leave. But I was just like, I don't want to be rude. Maybe he's a nice guy. Like, obviously, like nothing sexual is happening. That wasn't like my plan. I just wanted to have like, casual drinks and have a conversation.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, let me just like give him a chance. I'm already here. He got me an Uber, which is not an excuse for you to say, girls, like, yeah. And so I was just like, okay, like whatever. And he goes, gets his drinks. And so like how the rooftop was, everybody, I think like there were just like groups, and there were like this long communal table. And I was just like, okay. And there was one empty. So we went and like kind of sat there. They had some like board games. We started like playing board games. The conversation honestly like was a lot better.
Mhm.
We communicated really well. He was like making jokes. He was like really interested in getting to know me. So I was like, okay, like he's, the outfit, like it's fine,
Can look it
whatever.
over. Yeah.
Exactly. I can look over that, if like it had gotten to like something serious, obviously with my taste, I would think over. And I'm like, this is what you're gonna wear, just like how relationships and taking them from like, fours to like at least A7. And yeah, so I was just
Give
like,
him a
okay, like,
glow up.
yeah, give them a glow up. I'm like, if you're gonna be with me, like, you're gonna need to look good too. Like, I don't want people
Yeah.
looking at me and be like, well, I don't mind people looking at me and be like, she's definitely with him for the money. But
You don't mind that.
I don't want people looking at me and saying, why is she with him?
You want the reason to be clear.
Exactly. Exactly. I want the reason to be clear. It's either she's with him for the money or they look hot together and, they make a great couple. But yeah. And so she's like, okay, whatever. So we started like talking and everything. The drinks are flowing, conversation's going well. We're making jokes and we're playing board games. And then it starts going downhill. I told him how I was a model and I had like moved to New York for modeling. And then he was like, oh, you should like try Europe. They would love your look out there. And I was like, yeah, like that's my look. Like that's my goal in the future. Modeling in Europe. Of course, I would love that. He starts saying that he has like connections like in the modeling world. And I was like, okay. Clearly not with this outfit, but whatever. But yeah, and then just like some of the things that he was saying was just not making sense. And then we get to like the actual horror story. He starts saying how he starts talking about like sex trafficking and how sex traffickers would make like a whole lot of money off of my body.
Wow.
And
Guys, here's how not to compliment a woman. Lesson
I was just like,
101.
I was just like, that's where you decided to take this conversation. That's
Carly,
how
you
you
would
decided.
fetch a high price on the market.
You are honestly like you would bring in a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
And then not only that, he went on to right after to invite me to go to London with him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, like, I don't know all that, And then he was like, like honestly, I would put you in your own hotel and so like you're comfortable and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but like still you'd be booking the hotel and you know where I'm staying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
was like, oh, like thanks for the offer. Like I'll think about it. Maybe if we're still in contact, which we're not going to be. And I was in London and you were there, then we could like meet up, which we won't. And so I was like, that's great. And just like awkward at this moment, I'm like, he just is saying that like sex traffickers are going to make a lot of money off of me and then just went to invite me to Europe. And I was just like, okay, maybe not. And then so I started feeling uncomfortable. And then in a little bit, I noticed these two girls, one of them stunning, gorgeous, dark hair, bright blue eyes. And I was just like, I love her already. And so they come by and they're like, are you guys like using these chairs? Cause it was really like the only empty seats available because everybody else had taken up the space. And right away I was like, oh my God, no, please join us. Not like the seats are free, you can take them. I was like, no, please join us. Sit here. And then we start talking some more and getting to know each other. And they start to realize that like this guy is really weird. And one of the girls worked for like the government, I think for like the Navy or something. And he starts asking like government questions and then saying how like he's like a spy. So he clearly like he was like crazy in the head because he starts saying how like he was like working for like the Russians or he was working for the Russians or something. And then he got like arrested in Palestine or something and was in jail. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then the girls were just like, okay, okay, that's weird. And the girl that worked for the government was obviously like, I can't answer like some of these questions that you're like asking. Um, and the like gorgeous girl, she was sitting on the opposite side. She came over and she shows me her phone and she was just like, oh my God, like, do I look fat in this picture? And literally, it was her notes and it said, do you need help? This is why I love women. She was like, do you need help? And I was
This
just
was Sydney,
like,
right?
where I'm getting to that yet.
Sorry. Ruined it.
But yeah, so she like shows me the notes and I was just like, yeah, like you look fat in that picture.
So fat. Ugly.
You look
Delete that.
so fat in that picture, honestly. Horrendously bad. Like, yeah. And so I was just like, oh my God. And then she was like, okay, don't worry. Like, we're gonna figure this out. And then she texts like her friend that was sitting next, like in front of me, and tells her. And so they're like, we're gonna figure this out. I think at one point he like went to go get more drinks and they were just like, we're gonna figure this out. Like, it's fine. We're gonna get you out of the situation. Like, yeah, like he's so weird. And we kind of like stay for a little bit longer because we didn't know exactly like what the exit plan was gonna be. At some point I was just like, you know what? I need to go use the bathroom. Do you girls mind coming with me? Because that's not weird at all. Girls go to the bathroom all the time. And when they sat down and stuff, I honestly kind of started like ignoring him and just like talking to them and including them into the conversations. And he was also including them into the conversation too. So I was just like, okay, like this is a perfect opportunity. I need to go use the bathroom. If you girls want to join me, I would love that. They were like, yes, absolutely. We grab our purses and stuff. And I was just like, okay, like we're going to be right back. Don't move. I honestly didn't even finish my drink because at some point I had like looked away from it. So I was just like, he could have like drugged it at any point. Who knows? And then as soon as we like get to the elevator, there's kind of like a blind spot. So you can't really see the elevator. As soon as we get there, we click the elevator and then we hop on and we go downstairs. And the entire time, like the elevator ride, we were just like, oh my God, like, what the fuck was that? And they were asking me, and I was just like, I honestly don't know. I just met him like off of Bumble today. I just moved to the city like earlier this week, and this was my first weekend off, and I wanted to go out and have fun and meet people. So decided to go on a date. And then he showed up looking like that, and I showed up looking like this. And then she was like, yeah, when I like first walked up, I was just like, this girl is gorgeous. Why is she with this guy? Like something's just not adding up. And so I guess like she already had it in her mind that like we need to like go save her. And I was just like, you guys are literally so sweet. And then that could have been like the end of the night. It would have just been like a horrible like story and they saved me. And then like I went home and then that would have been it. But no, we go downstairs and they said, we're going out like somewhere else. It was literally like, I think the afternoon. So sun was still shining. It was summertime. I was just like, oh, like I literally have nothing to do. They were like, would you mind joining us? And I was like, oh my God, yes, please. And so we go somewhere else in Williamsburg and we like start talking, getting to know each other. And then we ended up going back to her apartment and, girls getting to know each other and all of that. She loved doing like tarot readings. So we started doing that. And she was like, you need to like stop dating, focus on yourself. This card is saying like this. I was just
I
like,
told you that. I didn't need no tarot cards for that.
like, honestly, she was so right. She was so right. And then afterwards, we go out and we go to this club and we meet this promoter there. And so we were able to like get in and fine. And then afterwards, they wanted to go somewhere else. I suggested that we go to Casablanca in New York. That's literally my favorite place to go to because I knew that my friend had a table there and so I was just like, let's go. Like, it will be like free entry and we don't have to wait in line or anything. And I already have like a friend that is a promoter. So free drinks, all of that. I was just like, and they were like, oh my God, perfect. And that was kind of like our last stop. We go out, we have a great time. We're dancing, we're having fun. And then I decided that like, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go home because it was just like way too late. And then she was like, okay, I'm gonna like stay with this guy. And literally, the guy that she stayed with is the guy
Yeah.
that she is with now.
That's amazing.
So it's like, now she saved me from a horrible like dating situation and possibly like human trafficking. And basically, the way that I had like paid it forward was inviting her to go to Casablanca, where she would find her husband. I don't know about husband, but her boyfriend that she's been with for like over a year now. I think they're
What's his
going on like
name?
2 years now.
What's his name again? Do you know his name?
Danilo. Danilo? Yeah, Danilo. Yeah, he's Ukrainian, but he
Sorry, Sydney.
don't put a lot of pressure on him. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. We were literally talking about it and yeah, she was like, yeah, like I wouldn't have met him if it wasn't for you because you're the one who suggested that we go to this place.
Mm,
And yeah.
yeah.
So I'm like,
Crazy how
about
life works, isn't it?
it is crazy how life works. And honestly, I like knew that Sydney and I would be like great friends. Like we just connected right away. She's a Scorpio. I'm a Pisces. We're both water signs. We're basically like sisters, same personality. Literally, that's my girl. Anytime that we go out, it's always a ball. There's always interesting stories. We're always meeting new people. We feed off of each other's energies. She's down for anything. I'm down for anything. The shit that we get into is insane. Like when we were in Lisbon together, and
Hmm.
then she ended up like being in Europe for like basically the whole summer. And I was like, oh my God, are you going to be in Lisbon these days? And she was like, yeah. And so we decided to like meet up. And literally, we met up. We started off with just dinner. We're like, we're going to have a chill night tonight. We're just going to get dinner. We're going to catch up. I haven't seen you in months. And it's crazy that we're in Portugal at the same time. So it's meant to be. So let's just keep it chill. We go, we have dinner. I brought her to this really great restaurant that I kept passing by. And I was just like, it's so cute. Let's go here. It's near Pink Street. So like if we wanted to like get drinks after, we could go do that. And so we go, we have a really cute dinner. The conversation is great. The wine is flowing. And catching up on everything, telling her my, like, I guess, dating situation since I last saw her, and also like any dating situation in, or, hookup situations in Lisbon since I've been there. And then there were like these two guys sitting next to us. They were taking a picture. I decided to hop in the picture. And then after that, they saw me and they were like, "Oh my God, ha ha ha!" And they were like, "No, like both of you join in." And so we both like joined into the picture with them. And then we decided to just have a conversation with them, and we just basically got to know each other. Um, and we all decided that, well, I mean, we were finishing up dinner. And so they were like, we were gonna go, like, do you guys mind if we like join you? We can all hang out. And I was like, yes, absolutely. Sydney was obviously like in a relationship, but
Hmm.
she's down for the girls. She's my wing woman. And one of the other guys, he was married anyway, and he was like 40 something. He was more my type. And then the other one, he was younger. I think he was like 30 something, and he was
Mm.
visiting Portugal as well. And it's a crazy story because they're cousins, and that was like the first time that they were meeting. Like one was from Argentina, and then the other one was from Portugal. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like interesting story, getting to know each other. Um,
Oh yeah.
and so I was like, yeah, like that's so cool. And I was telling them how we were friends, and we happened to be in Portugal in the same time. So this is kind of like the only time that we could grab dinner. Cause then the next day we were gonna hang out again, but it was mostly like during the day. And it was where like
Mm.
you met her, and then
Yeah.
she was gonna be on. And then we were gonna leave the day after for like South for Algarve. So it's like this was really the only time that we could grab dinner. And so yeah, we all got to know each other, and then they decided to join us. We walked down to Pink Street because it was literally like, I think, a 10-minute walk. And basically, obviously, we're gorgeous girls, and they got us drinks the entire night. We were having fun. We were dancing. The older one decides to leave. He has a wife, so he had to go home. And then the other one stayed, Mr. Sebastian.
I remember Sebastian.
Yes, you met Sebastian
I think I
actually.
did. Yeah, yeah. The next day, he popped around when we were having lunch,
Yeah,
didn't
the
he?
next day he like passed by while we were
Yeah,
having lunch.
yeah.
But yeah, so Sebastian stayed, and literally, wait, I want to pull up the picture from that night with
Oh, of us
Sydney.
at dinner,
No,
but the night
this
before,
one,
yeah.
Portugal.
Back into the archives.
Yeah, so many freaking pictures.
Yeah, we had a good time in Portugal, didn't we?
This is like me and you literally the next day at the Red Bull.
Oh yeah, you're on my shoulders there. Yeah.
That was such a crazy event. Here we go.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
Nice.
was like such a crazy night. Oh, and this was Sydney and I at dinner. Literally such a gorgeous girl. Could never take a bad picture of her.
She's like,
I'm
she's like one of those. Have you seen those memes where people
Yeah,
try
and
to
it's
take a
like
bad
trying to take
picture
like the horrible pictures, and then it's just
and then they
like
look at it and it looks good and she's like sipping wine? Sydney maybe would be one of those people. So would you
literally
actually.
like never take a horrible picture of her. I was just like, this girl is literally stunning. Like I could never hate on her. Like pretty girls who are secure, they never hate on other pretty girls. I love having like friendships like that because we're not catty with each other. We hype each other up like all the
Yeah.
time.
That's how it should be.
Exactly. Like, that's
Yeah.
how a female relationship should be. It shouldn't be
That's how
like,
all
we're
relationships should
competing.
be. I've got no time for
Exactly.
anybody that
You know
doesn't
what? You're
boost me up.
right. Yes. We're never in a competition. We can both win.
We can both win, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so we have like a great night and stuff. And then she goes home. I stay with Sebastian. This one wasn't like really a horror story. This one was actually like a great story.
This is the good that came out of the horror.
Yes, this is the good that came out of the horror. I met Sydney, and then Sydney meets me in Portugal, and then I meet this guy, and we have a great night. And wow, crazy how life works.
It is.
Yeah. Oh my God. But it is 7:45.
So we're going to have to end it here.
We're gonna have to end it here because my Uber will be here in 4 minutes now because it's 7:46, and I still have to like finish doing some packing, last minute packing. I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I'm glad we got to do this because then we've got an episode for, well, this episode will be tomorrow, I believe. Is that right? Yeah.
yeah, for tomorrow. I feel like I don't know.
Midday US time.
Yeah, let's read some stories that like people submitted.
Well, we've got one on the comments. We've got a couple on the comments, haven't we?
Yeah,
Let's open
there's
those.
this one from one of my friends. She said, I was catfished for the first time last summer, and the guy was so awkward with zero communication skills. The date lasted 30 minutes, made up of an excuse so that I can leave. And he had the nerve to invite me on a trip the following day.
Right. We need a bit more information from her there because was it an
Yeah.
intentional catfish or an accidental catfish? Because this is where the if it was an accidental catfish, then he probably didn't know that she thought he was catfishing her. If he did it on
Yeah.
purpose, then that's different. Purposeful catfishing, I have no idea why people think it's a good strategy.
Me either.
Zero. Unintentional catfishing? I mean, like, I do like reverse catfishing, so that's intentional, but
Reverse catfishing, intentional. Definitely do it.
intentional. And guys, it's actually a good strategy
Thank you.
if you can actually land a date. It is.
Oh my God.
But no, I don't understand the strategy. I mean, I'm done off dating apps. I know you are as well, right?
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
So I don't do
No
that
dating
stuff anymore.
for me.
I don't understand the strategies. I think in any walks of life, just honesty is the best policy. And it's strange to me that why anybody thinks putting a false representation of you online is going to work out.
Yeah.
I mean, it works out in the interim, but then in person, what are you hoping for? They'll just overlook the fact that you lied.
True.
Makes no sense. So we need more information from her. What's her name again? Who posted that comment? Let's do no names.
I'm
No
gonna
names.
do no. Yeah.
No names, but
This one was
we need more information.
Yeah, this one was my other friend. He's gay. He says, my ex fully cheated on me, gaslit me, and abused me when I called him out on it. And this is just like crazy.
Again, we need more information.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so for the next one, because we're obviously going to do a part 2, and we're going to keep it a lot more organized when we have more time. I think today we just literally did not have any time, and
We just
uh,
fitted it in.
Yes. So we're going to do part 2. Honestly, this is going to be kind of like a series thing, just dating horror stories. So everyone, send in your dating horror stories. And when I say I want details, I want details.
We need information.
Like I wanna have questions. And I want those questions to already have been answered. Okay.
Yes.
So please don't be shy. I obviously shared a whole lot of details today. So you should do the same.
Yeah. And you don't have to use names. We won't use your name. We'll keep it anonymous, but we need details so that we can see your perspective, not just he gaslit me, he cheated on me. Like, that's not enough information. We need to know how he gaslit you. Like,
Yeah.
what was the context of the situation? Because, you just saying that's not enough. So we need to know, we need to know the full story. Kind of like how Karlie did today. We had a half-an-hour story. We could do one per episode. We need so much information that we can only fit one in per episode.
Yes.
But yeah.
Wait, I'm kind of freaking out now.
Okay, why?
Because I had scheduled my ride and now
canceled?
it's not showing up.
I've had that with the Uber app before though. And then they have
this is
turned up Lyft. Oh, damn.
Freaking out. Hold on. Because it's only 7:50. And they're supposed to be here already. I didn't get any notification. Okay, let's end this and then we can talk about that.
Let's end this here, guys, and we'll let you know next episode whether Karlie made her ride or not. Stay tuned.
My God, I need to make my ride. But yeah, if not, I'm gonna have to have my sister bring me, or I'm gonna have to like call an Uber now. But they better not have charged me because I had scheduled a ride and they canceled.
I hope you
All
make
right.
it.
Well, yes. Send us all of
Right.
your dating horror stories so that we can do a second series on this. And yeah,
Thank you
I
everyone
don't
for
know.
listening. If you made it this far, like our video because YouTube's currency is likes and that'll help us grow and reach more people. And then if you
And
want to
don't
see
be
more of our
afraid to,
videos, subscribe.
yeah, yes. Like, subscribe. Do not be afraid to put your thoughts in the comments below because we
Yeah.
want to hear from you. We definitely will interact because, I'm very nosy, so I want to know everybody's, juicy gossip. So definitely like, comment, and subscribe and follow us on our social media. So our TikTok at unusual_beginnings one.
Is it
And
one? I
then
don't know.
I think so, yeah. Or just
Okay.
unusual_beginnings.
It'll be in the description below.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description. And then our Instagram just at unusual beginnings. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you everyone and goodbye.
Bye.